I thank my friend and colleague for leading this special order and for taking the leadership on this very important issue. Mr. Speaker, really, I'm here to try to implore our leadership to bring H.J. Res 27 to the floor and hopefully to enable us, the members of the People's House, to strike down this deeply flawed and deceptively written Death with Dignity Act that has been passed in the District of Columbia. This is not a bill about the elderly. It's not a bill about the sick and dying, as has been stated here. This is a bill that legalizes suicide. It actually attempts to normalize euthanasia. And as you know, Mr. Speaker, this bill applies to individuals with, quote, a terminal disease. What we all know, that could be applied to almost anyone. We could have someone with diabetes, for example, who is able to live a perfectly normal life with, in spite of the fact of having an insulin dependency. But without the insulin, they could be terminal. They would be. And so this bill applies to individuals who also may have been misdiagnosed. My friend, I appreciate Mr. Rothfuss mentioning Jeanette Hall. What a powerful story that is. Someone who actually voted for this bill in Oregon, and then a few years later comes to find out that she herself has cancer. She tries to have her doctor help her end her life. The doctor urges her to fight, to have treatment. She does so, and now 16 years later, she's alive and healthy. This bill, there's no reason for us to have this bill. And you look at the suicide rate in Oregon, since that bill was passed in that state in 1997, I mean, they have 42% above the national average of suicide in that state. But I appreciate Dr. Winstrup, too, just the flaws that he identified that this bill has is alarming. The fact that it more than likely will, certainly the potential is there, to lead to elder abuse. The bill has no requirement that the death certificate lists the real cause of death. It will just be required to say natural causes when in fact there was a lethal drug injected, and the drug itself is not required to be disclosed. The bill does not require a medical professional to be present to administer the lethal drug. Furthermore, as was alluded to a moment ago, the bill bars law enforcement and arguably courts from reviewing medical records at the Department of Health, effectively, potentially preventing them from doing their jobs in cases where there may have been foul play. And Mr. Speaker, please know that this does not simply apply to D.C. residents, but to those who reside in D.C., which would include everyone in this House. So I urge my colleagues to join in co-sponsoring H.J. Res 27. I urge our leadership to bring this to the floor for a vote. Again, I thank the gentleman for giving me opportunity to speak, and with that, I yield back.